mention log homes to 100 people, you get 100 different visions in those heads. But to me, when I go to my log house, it just feels like I'm on vacation, and it's a lifestyle change. And it's a shame that people have built log homes that are not designed well, and they've had to do a lot of maintenance on. Go in and talk to a log home manufacturer and say, I want as maintenance-free house as possible.
Sure.
And they will just, I know Gaston will design it for you and build it, and I'm sure other companies would too, but that's what you need to go after that.
Today it's part 2 with Paul Peebles from Sashco, and we're going to pick his brain about everything and anything, exterior stains, interior finishes, products that are best to use, the products that are not best to use, and how to make your log home as maintenance-free as possible.
Thank you, Lacey. It's going to be slim pickings in my brain.
Afternoon.
I'm Lacey Schmidt.
And I'm Paul Peebles.
Welcome to the Acorn and Leak podcast. We're going to talk about the exciting subject of exterior log stain and interior log finish. Are you excited, Paul?
It's only exciting when it doesn't work, and people call you and they're upset. But it's a very important part of
yes, it is.
Logs,
yeah.
Regular homes. I mean, paint on brick, or of course nowadays all new houses are painted black and white.
Yeah,
that's what I see. I've actually done some black log homes lately.
You did one of ours.
Yeah, we've done several of them.
Looks great.
Yeah, and people like them. Not one of my favorite things to do, but log homes are beautiful, or they can be beautiful. But the main thing is to keep them beautiful for a long time.
Right.
And one of the hardest parts about being in my business is that every stain that I sell will eventually fail. Eventually. At least on the outside. Now, of course, eventually means we hope it lasts so long enough that everybody will be happy. And the most common question I get when I'm out and doing a show or something like that, how long does your stain last? And I have to be honest, I don't know, because I don't know where you're going to put it. I don't know the design of your home. I don't know anything like that. I will say that the particular stains that we manufacture at Sashco, in my opinion, obviously I'm biased, but I have worked for other companies. Especially our water-based capture product is the best thing that you can put on a log home, period. And I say that not lightly. I say it because I put it on my house in 1996, and it's still there. And I've been involved in many other projects that were done in 99 and 2000, 2001, 2003, that are really in good shape, and people have taken care of their houses. Nothing is going to last outside that long without the proper maintenance. But I like this particular product because the maintenance coat for it is clear. With other things, like we have an oil-based product, and it's a pretty good oil-based too. But every time you have to recoat, it gets darker and darker and darker. The water-based technology is similar to the technology that is on automobiles. If you remember back, if you're somewhere around my age, you remember they used to have to wash and wax your truck or car every Saturday afternoon. And if you didn't, the paint would get dull and chalky and faded. And then all of a sudden, about 25 years ago, you could not wash a car for many, many years and then wash it and come out just fine because it's got a gel coat on it. We have a clear coat that goes on our stain. And if you do it correctly and put that on as needed, which means anytime there's a little bit of color shift or it's a little bit dull or chalky, then there's many people that have never had to restain their home in 25 or more years. But how you design your house is more important, really, than the stain. If you have large roof overhangs and if you have lots of porches, let's just say you put a 6-foot deep porch all the way around your house, Lynn, what does that give you? gives you a whole lot
zero maintenance.
Yeah, almost zero maintenance. It
Yeah.
gives you a whole lot of great outdoor living space. It gives you, if you're in the South, it shades your walls from the sun, which makes your stain last longer, but it
Right.
also can decrease your cooling bills. There's lots of advantages to that. Now, every design doesn't allow for that, but if you do the wide overhangs, so a 2-foot overhang, or not by overhang, I mean eaves on the house,
Right.
and then a 4 or 6-inch gutter, preferably a 6-inch gutter, provides a lot more shade on that wall and keeps about half the rain off the wall that otherwise would have fallen. Why are we interested in doing that? I live near the Smoky Mountains and Blue Ridge Parkway. Those mountains used to be taller than the Rocky Mountains. Now, most people might cry BS for that, but it's true. What tore those down? Temperature change, rain, sun, wind, abrasive things blowing in it. It's what Ron White said. It's not that the wind blows; it's what blows in the wind that causes erosion. But those are really factors that if you do a well-designed house and you put stains on it that are the correct type of stains, and what that means, don't go to a big box store and buy something that you find there, because
Right.
you don't take your Mercedes to the Volkswagen dealer or vice versa. You don't take it to the lawnmower shop to get it repaired. You buy products that are designed for, widely used, successfully, and tested and developed for log homes.
People say, the maintenance on a log home is too much, and I said, well, why do you think that? Well, I had a neighbor that he had to put a stain on his house every year. I'm like, do you know what kind of stain he used? Well, no, he went down to get it at Menards and whatever they had on sale that weekend. And I was like, that's why he had to stain his house every weekend. It's not because of the fact that the log house is hard to maintain. It's because you're not using the right product.
That's part of it. The right products, the right prep, the right techniques, all that goes into doing
Wood
it.
species, I mean, that affects it too.
Wood species would affect it sometimes in some areas. I'm sure it does. But it's really and I hate it when people say logs are a lot of maintenance. I literally and promise you, I own a brick house. I live in a brick house, but I've spent more on my brick house in the last 30 years than I have on the log home that we built, because it's fairly well designed. It started off with one porch. It has 3 now. But we did have, when our original house burned down, I'd just gotten into this industry. And then I started asking questions. Hey, I want to build this house. It's on our farm. It's where we go to hunt and fish. We don't want to work on it. What do? Well, hey, build big overhangs and put, on the south and west side, make sure that you've got a porch. And we did that. And my friends were right. Thank the Lord, because, I'm busy enough at work. And when I go to our farm, I want to, again, hunt and fish and relax, not work on it. And I hate it that some people buy log houses and they don't know what they're getting into. And, the house is not designed well, and they buy it and they're living it a couple of years, and then now they've got to spend a lot of money to get it fixed.
All log homes are not created equal.
That's right.
And I get, it's really frustrating when you hear people, they talking about log homes, this or that, and it's just, there's a right way to build a stick home, and there's a wrong way, and there's a right way to build a log home, and there's a wrong way. So, you can buy stick homes that are poorly made. People don't, when that happens, people don't say, oh, that stick home, blah, blah. But when it's a log home, people, oh, that log home. It's got to do with how the logs are designed. It's got to do with the engineering that goes into the wall. It's got to do with the thought process of how those logs are sealed and the theory behind it. And then it's got to be built correctly. So
all those are,
but all those things are true with a stick home too.
Sure,
it's
they
not
are.
just a log home; it's any home.
Yeah, but and I said this earlier. If you mention log homes to 100 people, you get 100 different visions in those heads. But to me, when I go to my log house, it just feels like I'm on vacation, and it's a lifestyle change. And it's a shame that people have built log homes that are not designed well, and they've had to do a lot of maintenance on. But I still bet they wouldn't trade it for a brick house, lots of them. And if you're going to build one, though, for gosh sakes, go to somebody that's going to build one. You go in and talk to a log home manufacturer and say, I want as maintenance-free house as possible.
Sure.
And they will just, I know Gaston, they will design it for you and build it. and I'm sure other companies would too. But that's what you need to go after. That don't say I want a water feature here or this feature there, and I want this, that, and the other. You need to say I want a house that is going to be low maintenance for me, and it can be done because I've seen lots of them over the years. I built one.
It's funny. I've lived in a log home since 1978, and I work in a log building, so I'm in logs all 24/7. And I in a few years ago, several years ago, went down to your farm and we went duck hunting.
Yeah.
And we stayed in your cabin, and it is really the quintessential log cabin. It's the vaulted ceiling and the big fireplace, and we'd been duck hunting. And we came back, and after successful duck hunting, we came back, and you cooked up these ducks, and we sat around the fireplace and had a few drinks, and I looked and I said, this is the kind of situation that makes people want to have a log home.
That's right.
We forget because I forget because I live in one all the time and work in one that relaxation and feeling that you get in a log home, you just can't get in any other type of building.
Yeah. And, when I built my house, I wasn't a builder. I did it, and I wasn't perfect at it. And I go down there on a Friday afternoon, and I sit down on my couch and look at that fireplace, and I look around and see all the things that I messed up, and I think, I really don't care, because it's like the sword of Damocles gets lifted from above my head when I get there. And, it's a great way to live.
And what's kind of heartbreaking is that is such a drive in the industry overall, not in our industry, but just in the materials industry and the building industry for everything to be maintenance free. And there really is not a house, stick frame or otherwise, there's not a house that is completely maintenance free. But that's what and for somebody who that's what's important to them, I worry that they would just entirely rule out a log home because of those negative connotations that there are, versus trying to find a way to build it that it is the most, they could still basically get both things they're looking for.
It would be a huge mistake to overlook log homes because of maintenance, because somebody says their log home has been a lot of maintenance and stuff like that. It's like, over the years I've done several things, and some of the worst houses that I've done as an Energy Star rater were brick houses or stick framed houses. My little brother had a house that he built that was infested with those Asian lady beetles and stink bugs and stuff, and it was a conventionally built house. We figured it out and fixed it, but it was not a great house. But the log houses, if you came to Gastineau and said, I want a house that I have to minimum maintenance, Gastineau can do that.
Oh, yes.
And we'll be right back. I know. We get it. You've been sitting there, driving your car. Maybe you're running on a jog on a beautiful morning, listening to this podcast and thinking about building your log home. So we made it easy for you. Start your journey with us here at Gastineau Log Homes. Family owned, women led, and proudly crafting oak log homes since 1977. As the largest oak log home manufacturer in America, we're here to help bring your dream, big or small, to life. You can call our office at 573-896-5122 or swing by the National Model Home Center here in Kingdom City, Missouri, or even visit us online at oakloghome.com to get started, because your dreams never look so good. While you're listening to this podcast, did you find yourself loving or imagining the smell of sawdust or the thrill of closing a deal? Well, good, because we're hiring. From the mill to sales to design to even shipping, there's a place for you at Gastineau Log Homes. You can apply today at oakloghome.com/careers. If you've been enjoying the Acorn and Leaf podcast, do us a quick favor. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It helps more folks who love log home living find us and join the conversation, which is such an awesome community. And hey, if you love what we do here at Gastineau Log Homes, head over to Google and leave us a review there as well. It means the world to us and keeps the dream growing. Thanks for listening and for being part of the Gastineau family. Back to the show.
Yeah, we have what we call a low maintenance option. Most important part of that is where the things that are hard to reach you make them out of a material that's going to be, is very low maintenance, something that you're not going to have to get up on the roof and fix, like your dormer siding, your soffits, your gable ends, especially if you have a walkout basement, you've got a gable end and it's 35 feet in the air and it's wood siding. I mean, it's taking care of the wood itself is easy. It's just the fact that you're 35 feet in the air.
Right.
So if you can keep everything you're just maintaining the logs on the first floor, then that's simple. As long as you can reach it, it does.
Sure.
It's not time consuming to take care of just the first floor, as long as you can reach it.
Sure, and especially if those walls the low walls even are covered with a 6-foot deep porch.
yeah.
I mean, all you're going to have to do is just get the spider webs off of it every few years, and you're going to have to do nothing else. And again, you've got all that great living space for the grandkids and the dogs and all that stuff to be wandering around.
Yeah, I had a guy tell me that it was sacrilegious to build a log home without a porch.
Oh yeah, or fireplace.
sure.
Yeah, fireplace to me is the most important part.
Yeah.
But there are, as far as the technologies and stuff, people say, I want a penetrating oil stain, and that goes back to, 25 years ago, the oil products were the best product out there. But over the years, the water-based technology has caught up and taken hold, and in my mind is a better technology. And a lot of that has to do with VOCs, volatile organic compounds, that the EPA has tried to get out of the atmosphere.
I'm very impressed you could say that word. Say that again.
Volatile organic, I can't say it. I only did it once. Volatile organic compounds, VOCs. It's the smell of gasoline or the smell of an oil-based product. Those can be harmful to some people, and some people are sensitive to them, and the EPA wants us to get out. So taking some of those things out of oil-based stains, in my mind, there's probably people that will disagree with me, and they're the people that manufacture oil-based stains. We do manufacture oil-based stains, but and plus in my part of the country, in the southeast, the water-based products outperform the oil-based. Out west, it's a little bit different, where it's a lot drier, so the oil-based stains are a little bit more prevalent out there.
No, that's interesting. I've never heard that.
Yeah, I sell a lot more water-based than they do, and they sell more oil than I do. And some of that's personal preferences from, people of different ages wanting what they want, and that's fine. We can do that for them. The technology, the difference is that some of them penetrate deeply into the wood. And I always say, well, what happens deep in the wood? Well, nothing. The sun doesn't shine on the deep in the wood, and the water doesn't hit deep in the wood. It's all happening on the surface. So the water-based product that we have, the capture and cascade system that we call it, you think of it more as a transparent or semi-transparent paint. And the cool thing is that you can get so many different colors out of it. We can go from black to grays and there's just a wide variety. There's like 168 different colors that you can do with our products now, and to clean up as water as opposed to mineral spirits and all that kind of stuff. And your brushes don't get
One of the big advantages, I think, to the oil-based, the water-based over the oil-based is the fact that if you the oil-based, if you get it on your plants, you're 10 years old and you've got to have plants around your house, the oil-based will hurt your plants.
It does do that.
The water-based won't hurt them.
And the oil is preferred by some people because it is easier to put on.
Yeah.
It doesn't lap as badly, and it's a little bit more forgiving because it doesn't dry fast. Sometimes the water-based products out west, when you got 17%, humidity for during the day and a wind, they can actually dry fast, so it's difficult. So there's places for both of them, and they'll all work. But again, the most important thing is not whether it's water-based or oil-based. The most important thing is the design of your house. I had a friend that told me, we won't build a house unless it's got a 6-foot porch all the way around it, because we want you to come back. We want your kids to come back and buy one. And he was a wise man.
How do you advise people as far as prepping their logs before they stain them? What do you think is the most important thing you do in prepping?
It starts the day your logs arrive. Cleanliness throughout the whole process is next to godliness, and people that keep their logs covered up during the building process are going to have less prep to do when it comes time to stain. All quality products have to be put on clean, dry, warm, sound wood. If you start off with those things and you put a good quality stain on there, then you'll get a good job. You can't slosh some stain on a piece of rotten wood or wet wood or wood that's got dirt on it. You get inconsistent results. everybody knows that, but they don't know how important. So with most folks, if they've gone through the building process, they've gotten the house dried in fairly well, there's not a whole lot of mold or mildew or things like that. It's just going to be as simple as applying the recommended cleaner by the stain manufacturer. And always when you're applying a cleaner, you apply it from the bottom to the top.
Correct.
And then you rinse with a power washer. And I say rinse with a power washer. I don't mean power wash with a power washer. If you're trying to get dirt off or something off with a power washer, you need to be using a different cleaner or use a soft scrub brush. But a power wash, men are. If a 1,500 psi power washer is good, we're going to get a 5,000 one, and we're going to blast the wood to pieces. But never get it closer than about 16, 18 inches to the wall. Never do it at a 90-degree angle. Always do it at a 45-degree angle, so that you're kind of lifting the dirt off. And so you'll apply the cleaner from the bottom to the top and rinse from the top down, and then let it dry, and then you're ready to stain. And as we've talked about earlier, some of the advantages to a water-based stain is that you can go to one wall, set up your scaffolding, and if the weather's right, you can put a coat of capture on, you can do some caulking, and then you can put another coat of capture on, and then 30 minutes later you can put a coat of the Cascade on. Then you can move all your equipment and all your stuff to the next wall. Another important thing is plan your work. You can't stain in direct sunlight. First of all, it's hot. And second of all, it'll cause products to dry too quickly, and you'll get a poor job there. So plan your work as the sun moves around your house. So start in the morning on the west side and get that done first, so that the sun, and in the morning, in the afternoon, you go to the east side, and I don't know which is north and south. It's potluck.
In the middle, in between.
In between. But plan your work, stay out of the direct sun. Obviously, look at the weather. And make sure that it's not going to rain, or hope that it's not going to rain. Sometimes the weatherman is wrong, and if I was as wrong as the weatherman, I wouldn't have a job.
Right. How long after, for Capture Cascade, after you put it on, how long is it supposed to be before it rains?
It says 24 hours, but as long as it's dry to touch, it's fine. It's always wise to keep some Tyvek or some type of something around just in case some storm comes through.
Right.
And if you know there's thunderstorms in the area, then be careful. You could start at the top and stain up under your eaves or something just to be careful, or under your porch. You can start those days. But the days that you're going to be out in the where it's unprotected for a long period of time, make sure that the weather's right. I've seen too many people try to stretch it. They call me this time of year. Hey, it's going to be 18 tonight. It's going to be 40 tomorrow. Can I do the staining? No, it's not that. No, you can't quite do that. I can't answer that question because it's not the temperature of the air; it's the temperature of the wood.
I've actually seen pictures of people that have put up plastic and they put heaters underneath and have done that.
Absolutely. There's a big market with people that do this type of work for old circus tents. They will actually tent the house, the whole thing, because they, if it's Montana and you want to work past October, you better have a way to.
Right. It's the only way to work year-round in some of those climates.
Well, year-round.
Mm-hmm.
You have a really cool how-to product guide here that Sashco puts out. What do they send that out free to people?
Yeah, we do have a really cool new catalog. And yes, if you call Sashco or email us, we'll send you a catalog. Most of our customers have these. Our dealers.
We've got them at our Model Home Center.
You should be at the Model Home Center. If you don't, let me know. I'll send you some more. But there's everything that you would ever want to know about a log home and more in this thing in here. And sometimes it's actually a little bit complicated because we go into detail. Because our customers are often detailed and they want to know, so we put it on there. And this is in there. How to stain and seal. It shows about the shade and the sun and all these things. Is how to backbrush and what the type tools to use, and how to caulk, and it shows backer rod. It shows all these things in here, and it's a great source of information. And it will be able to, I think you can download it online. So if you don't even want to go get it, I'm sure there's a PDF available at Sashco.com in the log products section.
That's one thing I really appreciate about Sashco, that they take, I know how much time and effort and money it takes to produce something like that. And the fact that they do that it really shows that they care about their products being applied properly and properly used and educating people. And we try to do that too. We try to educate people.
Well, that's how you make people happy, right? I mean, if they do it, if somebody's going to do something, you want them to do it the right way the first time, because everybody's happy then. Nobody's happy if they they do it wrong, even,
And the last thing I want to hear is, you didn't tell me that.
Right.
Can't tell you everything.
Got a lot.
Told you weren't listening.
Well, Paul, you probably don't even realize this, but starting this year, Gas Log Homes is going to have a maintenance contract that we offer. You know, we have a maintenance division that does maintenance on log homes, not just our homes, but other people's homes as well. And so we are going to offer that a maintenance contract where when we come and we restain, reseal, do whatever to your home, that we'll offer a 5-year maintenance contract on that for people. I don't think there's any other log home company in the nation that is offering anything like that. For our own new homes, we have a 3-year maintenance, and then that can follow with a 5-year, so you can actually have a total of 8 years of maintenance. And of course, then you can extend it by 5-year increments from then on. And what we're going to do in that, one of the things that we do, and I know that you're a proponent of this also, is that coming to the house once a year and washing the house, getting the dirt off the house. People don't realize that, I actually think you're the person that educated me on this, is that the dirt has microorganisms in it that eats the stain. So if you get the dirt off your house, your stain will last longer.
That's a really responsible thing to do. And no, I don't know of any other log home companies that do that. When I leave a job site and I've talked to somebody about staining their house, I say, look, do this right the first time, or get somebody else to do it. If you get somebody else to do it, make sure that you contract with them to come back and look at your house every year. If you're not going to do that, then you need to hire somebody that's going to come and look, because time slips away so fast, and all of a sudden, it's 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 10 years. And if you would spend a little bit of money every year as opposed to a big chunk every 10
Correct,
years,
yeah.
which is typically what a whole lot of people do, you can run into it. It grows exponentially.
Right.
So if you wanted to spend,
Right.
if you'd spend $1,000 every year, but then don't spend any money for 7 years, it may be a $10,000 or $15,000 repair bill because you've let something go.
Right. That's the other thing we're going to do. When we come and we wash the house, then we
Yep.
can inspect the house and see if there's anything needs attention. Whether somebody has let, ivy grow up the side of the house, or their gutters or their downspouts are throwing water back on the logs. People don't look for those kinds of things, and that's be our job, is to come and look
Right.
and find those things. So those things can cause real long-term damage.
Absolutely. And, and it's not just log houses.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Any house, but
Dirt is full of organic material, and add a little bit of water to it. Now it's food for mold and mildew, and that mold and mildew actually shoots little rootlets down through the pores in our stain that allow it to breathe. And since it is a living organism, it produces acidic waste, which will eat into the finish on your logs. So that's
Very
why you keep
interesting.
it clean.
it's very interesting.
Yeah, keeping in the clean house is like you said, the clean logs to start with. But and it doesn't it doesn't take a lot to wash the house. You just a lot of times if you've got enough water pressure, you can use a garden hose.
You
Sure.
say
You don't
garden
have to
hose
use a
with one
power
of
washer.
the high pressure nozzles, even, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Just to wash
absolutely.
it?
If you don't own a power washer, don't use one. I've advised you not to. Get a long, soft car wash brush with those extendable handles, and get a hose and get some cleaner with a little pump up garden sprayer. Spray it on bottom and top, and let it sit there to do its work, and then scrub off the little spots that are dirty or bird pooty or whatever it is that's up there, and then rinse it back off. And you're a long way ahead of the guy that takes a power washer to it every 3 years.
Right, exactly.
One question I had was about the interior, whenever you're going to finish the interior. And let's say somebody didn't follow all the advice that you've given, and they've got a little bit of mold maybe on the interior, but they're dried in. How do you recommend before they stain? What do you recommend the steps?
If
be?
they didn't do anything, which is a mistake, but a lot of people do that because they like the way the wood looks in the very beginning. They don't realize that over a period of time it's going to shift color. You can't see this through. We're here in an office, and you can see where there was some trim over here, and they moved some things. So wood changes color even on the inside because there's some sun's energy, and there's other factors involved. But you can get like the picture frame effect. If you ever move a picture, you can see it.
Sure.
We do have a cleaner that you can use on the inside that does not have to be rinsed, and that's coming out in like June. So that's something that people can use. But if you don't put a film on the inside of your wood, there's dust. There's dust everywhere. Especially if you have fireplaces, people that smoke. You got if you're cooking in the kitchen and you use grease, well, that evaporates in there and settles onto your wood. So you can go back and clean it, And then I would say apply a coat of a product that we have called Color Fast that has properties in it that prevent or greatly slow down the yellowing or the changing of the color of the wood. And then there's a product called Symphony that goes over the top of that, and it's like a poly except for it's an acrylic, and it'll provide a surface that can be damp mopped or cleaned.
And that's a water-based product.
Both of them water-based.
Yeah, both the water-based product again, which is the easy cleanup. But we actually at our model home center, we actually did interior wood panelings and things like that. We did them on a wall, and we used a water-based and an oil-based, so people can see the difference in the look. I mean, it is a very, very different.
Surprising how different the finish looks for different species.
It is much darker. The wood becomes much darker if you use yellow based. So it is very different. So if you want a lighter looking house, then I highly recommend that you use water based.
And most people don't want a dark house inside.
Right.
Of course, they should do that with lighting, which I've heard you talk about before.
Yeah, I'm kind of the lighting.
You're the
guru.
lighting lady.
Lighting lady in the log home industry. I'm all about lighting. Well, this has been great, Paul. I really appreciate you coming in here and doing this for us. And, I think Lacey and I both learned some new things also.
Always.
I'm getting really old, been in this business 47 years, and I'm still learning things. So, I always tell people there's no such thing as a dumb question. So, I always tell people, always ask whatever question. If you don't understand something, just ask.
You just ask your regular question, I'll give you the dumb answers.
Well, really appreciate you coming in. I think we've covered a lot of topics here. If people always talk about exterior stains, it's really important product and discussion to have with people and make sure people know the right way to do it. So
Sure. Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Anytime.
if you need more information about maintenance or stain, call our office, 800-654-9253. We also have information on our website, which is oakloghome.com.
For more information, go to www.sashco.com, or you can call customer service with a real question live on the phone, 800-767-5656.